Wake up, buy here, pay here people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhodes on the Buy Here, Pay Here morning show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning from Utah.
I'm loving the new time slot.
Yeah, it feels good. It's a nice adjustment.
It's a very nice adjustment. I hope everyone's having a great week. It's White Hat Wednesday, and we've got a topic that is going to tie into a lot of other things for the day. But
and we got a sure enough buy here, pay here dealer in the wings, waiting
sure
to
enough,
join us.
And so just real quick before we start into that, next week, FIADA, their rescheduled conference.
Right.
We are speaking. We will be broadcasting our address. But it's going to be on Thursday at 2:00 Eastern. And, Bill Elizondo, if you happen to be listening, they got us opposite of each other. I mean, that should be in our contracts because it's like, we like to be at yours and we hope you want to come to ours.
And our contracts, we need to start working on one of those contracts. What do they call the contracts when the people come for the concert, the celebrities
I don't
come
know,
and they
but
have
it's
that
like
list of all the stuff they
it's
want.
like these are our demands.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure Bill's got one.
Bill's got to have a couple of demands because, he's not really demanding, but he is a celebrity.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that. So that's coming up. Again, I save the date, March 30th. We're going to be doing an all day broadcast and looking forward to that. That's going to be, you're going to see things starting to come, within the next couple of weeks where we're going to do some teasers and starting to get some stuff out about that. So that's
before that, on Friday, we have the new CEO from NIADA, Melanie Wilson's going to be here along with Jeremy Beck. We spoke to Jeremy yesterday on Another Business Matter. He's got COVID and not doing so great.
If you want to not come, he's like, no,
he's expecting to rally.
I'll be there.
He's being a trooper and expects to be there. So tune in Friday and listen to hear from the new CEO. So we're really excited to meet her and have a chance to find out about all the fun stuff with NIADA.
Yeah, and we really have enjoyed working with the folks out there and all of them.
And they're really moving and got a good clip.
Oh my goodness, they've got some great stuff.
They got a lot of stuff going on, really starting to execute on a lot of stuff. Good morning, George.
Good morning, George. I hope we're going to get together, George.
We're going to do it
next week.
Yeah.
Smoked old fashioned.
Oh, nice. We're going to make that happen.
Oh, heck yeah, we are. Right. We promised him. We didn't quite meet up with George in Utah.
Surely we can find smoked old fashions in Orlando, Florida. You think?
I would think so. I think that they do like, old fashions out there. Yeah. So I think we should be able to
teach them how if we need to.
We actually, yesterday we had an all day, brainstorming session with our CEO, Dave Murray, and you guys all met him Monday, and really great. And he's like, tell me about this smoked old fashioned thing. So we rolled video from TIADA, and he was what? With like the glass bird cage, open the door and pull out two drinks.
We'll have to get those videos ready to share in here one of these days.
It was
good morning, Shelley.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Hope all is well in Tejas this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we need to?
No, I think that's it. It's set. We got our January webinar topic set. We got to lock in the date, but it will be on this same subject.
It'll be at the end of the month, and that should be like we should be figuring out the date today.
We got a couple of VIPs we need to confirm and lock in the date.
Yeah.
But it'll be on brand.
It will be on like just kind of getting some starting stuff about branding, and that's what we're talking about today. Kind of lay some foundation to what we're going to be talking about at the webinar, and some nuggets, and so.
Shall I introduce our guest?
Well, you want to give a backstory?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
So maybe it's helpful to understand. We met this young man at the BHPH United event last year. He ended up engaging us to do a short little kind of branding mini course, we'll call it. And we kind of led him through our own perspective on branding and marketing. You know, neither Michelle or myself.
Connecting. I mean, because
Yeah.
it's a lot of it is about connecting
Yeah.
with your
how to connect with your
community and your
audience,
customers.
your community. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
really if you think of first as a community and second as customer, then that
Mhm.
goes a long way right there. But
Mhm.
but yeah, that's part of what's happened. And so this dealer is somebody who's been in the service business, used car business, and now added Buy Here, Pay Here. And so what we have helped Nik do is to kind of, you know, think differently about marketing and get a little comfortable on video and get out
I
there.
remember the first time that we asked, we'll bring Nik on.
Yeah.
The first time we asked in video, it was like,
Yeah. So he's gotten quite comfortable and just doing a fantastic job being the real Nik.
Yeah.
And that's part of what it's all
about. So should we bring him in?
Yeah, let's bring in Nik.
So hey Nik, it's a pleasure to have you.
He's in Western Pennsylvania. Right?
Tyrone.
Western?
Central.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
it's Tyrone Tire and Automotive.
Correct. Yep. You got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. So we've enjoyed getting to know you and spend some time with you. And I just reached out the last minute, just this morning, said, Nikki, would you happen to be available to join the morning show? And it's part of the beauty of just being able to kind of do this whole thing on the fly and just, you know, have the. And Nik's like, I don't know what to talk about.
Nikki, before we went live, he's like, how do you guys come up with topics?
Yeah.
It was like, well, sometimes it's like, hey, honey, what are we going to talk about today?
Sometimes it's
but this was one of the things that, you know, we were after that brainstorming session, we were like, we really need to kind of just start the conversation about branding. And it's, you know, a lot of people think about branding as a logo, and that's not what we're talking about. I mean, a logo it can be a piece of branding, but a lot of people think about branding as, you know, the logo. You know, you see the golden arches, you know what that is. You see, you know, different, different
so
symbols.
We're talking about something more than
different.
just the look of your business. So, you know, if you meet with brand people, you might talk about a brand package that would have your logo. It might have your whole color theme. It might have other pieces of art,
letterhead, business cards, that kind of stuff.
And so we're talking about really something more than that. We're really talking about your brand identity or your corporate identity, like your company's identity. And I think in particular, we want to think about that in the context of, you know, creating a loyal following. And for us, Nik, it's often like Michelle and I talked about this in the context of referring dealers like yourselves to providers. Like, you know, we know a lot of providers in the space. If you were needing a new GPS, you wanted to explore a different GPS, we could introduce people. But we like to know the people behind the product. Why? Because it tells you who they are. And if there's a little problem with the product, you know who you're dealing with, you know?
Yep.
And so that's important to us in that context. And so now if you think about applying that to, if I'm a consumer shopping for a used car, wouldn't it be helpful if I already had some understanding of who the people are at the dealership? So I think that's been part of what we've seen you do. And part of the reason I thought you were an important dealer to come talk about this is because, you know, we've seen the stuff that you're posting. I've taken the posts that you share and I've shared them inside the Facebook groups because we're just kind of saying this is representative of what we're asking dealers to think about doing to help their community get to know them. So you might just share kind of what your experience has been as you've kind of stepped into that.
Yeah, just like listening to you talk about that kind of took me back to, I think you guys might have shown this in that Buy Here, Pay Here United presentation. Was it Simon Sinek that said,
yes,
people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Right.
Is that the right guy?
It
Look
is.
at you, you're listening.
I know.
Yeah.
Back from Simon Sinek.
No.
You know, that's just kind of resonated through the whole process and through all your teachings in the marketing course, and just kind of building that up and building off of that, and you know, doing things relative to that in the community. And yeah, I don't know.
So tell me a little, you know, when we first got started, you were like, I want to be able to connect. You were just starting into doing Buy Here, Pay Here. And, you know, when we talked about helping people understand who you are, uh, we had a few assignments that were from the beginning, and one of those was short video.
Yeah.
Short
Still,
video.
man, still, like, I don't know why that's such a pain point for me, but still struggle with that. But working on it, we're just do a couple here and there and trying to
And as you do it, does it
break
get
out of my
easier?
shell.
Does it get easier?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
The first one was like, man, like pulling teeth, but
Yeah.
and some people are naturals at that and can just do it, and I'm just not that guy. But
I
we're getting
remember,
there.
you were like, I don't know. And so we did some stuff and sent it to
Yeah.
you. It's like, it's just like this. It's,
Yeah.
and obviously it's not so much of a difficulty to like stand in front of a camera and say the stuff, but it's, sometimes it's getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's all in my own head. I'm just overthinking everything way too much, but
Well, I think
it's not that bad.
It's interesting because I think you said I'm not that guy. So I'm gonna think about that, because when you say I'm not that guy, like you have some perception of what that guy on video looks like.
Sure.
And in reality, you are that guy.
You are
You're
that guy.
Nick. You're the guy we want to have on the video. So it's like, of course you're that guy. We got to get you on because we want to get your consumers to get to know you.
Sure.
Yeah. And so one of the things that we've seen that that you've done, and which I have so enjoyed, and it was, we talk about getting understanding the people behind the product, is we've seen you do spotlights of all of your team.
Yeah.
And
one of my favorites too.
Yeah. And so how did they feel about doing that? Did they, what was the feedback from them about doing that?
Yeah, I can't say that they knew like ahead of time. I mean, after they saw the first one, they were probably wondering why I was taking pictures of them, but
probably.
But man, I really, truly, it starts with, I believe in our team, and like we just have incredible people that are talented in what they do, and and just being able to spotlight that, and again, back to the branding thing, like just building a brand of, we have the best people that we can possibly put in these positions, and it was part of that. But feedback from the guys was good on that. A lot of customers and stuff jumped in on people they see here on a regular basis, and it was pretty cool. And I had a lot of good feedback from the public on that as well, like our customer base on like, wow, this is so cool. Like, it's nice that you appreciate your employees, and stuff like that.
So I mean, it's two things. You've done two things with doing an exercise like that, is that your customer and your community see that you appreciate. So that's kind of like a theme in culture today, is like, do people appreciate who they have employed?
Yeah. So
it's like, I appreciate the people. And the second thing is the humanizing. It's like, oh, these look like people that I like them even more if they already know them, or hey, if they're seeing them for the first time on whatever social, it's like, oh, these are real people, and they're nice people, and they're, they care.
Yeah, and we'll try to share the link when we wrap up the show. But the thing that I would say is, find Nick's Facebook page, which is Tyrone Tire and Automotive, right?
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
Tyrone PA, and just follow what they're doing, because I think when I think about what you just shared about those employee spotlights, do two things too. They also they show what they help your community connect to your people, but in doing that, it also says a lot about you. As you share that stuff, like it helps them know kind of what you're about.
I would agree.
And I, one other piece that your team feel appreciated.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that was that was a big part of that for me. Because you see these people every single day, and they're going to work for you, and you don't always let them know, and that was like something, just to get it out there, put it up there, and highlight individual things about each person that makes them special to our organization, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I enjoyed doing that, writing those posts up, and like just really thinking about the character of our people.
Good. Well, I
Yeah.
think, when we think about brand awareness, of course, that can include ultimately advertising. But
Mhm.
we're really talking about, in your case, we're mostly talking about organic stuff. You haven't put dollars behind these things. These are organic posts that are going out to your Facebook page and maybe your website, whatever. And some of it's going out by email here and there. But really what we're talking about is you getting known in your community. And in the course of doing that, you get to be liked. I mean, people like what you guys are about.
Mhm.
Why not? You're likable and you're doing business the right way. They're going to like you as you get out there and share who you are and what you're about. And then, of course, they begin to trust you. And so
Mhm.
I think this is a thing that, especially when we're talking about used cars, I was telling Michelle, the example I was thinking through is like, if we all just be consumers for a minute, the last time you went out to buy something that had a significant price tag,
Yeah.
chainsaw. Last time you went shopping for a chainsaw, where did you go? Like if you picked a product and how would you decide where you're going to go to buy that? Right. So pick anything. And now, so it's really about how do you choose?
Yeah.
How do you choose where you go to do your business?
Well, and it's also, if there are other car dealerships and other buy here, pay here dealerships that are within a 10-mile or whatever radius, it starts to be, it's kind of like white noise or gray noise. It's just, I just need a car. And so, we get, especially when you're in a community or an area that has other options as well, is what is it that sets you apart as someone that someone's like, oh, I want to do business with them.
Yeah.
Instead of,
I
I
feel
just need a
comfortable with.
car.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have that added problem. The reason I bring up something like chainsaw is because we have the added problem. If you think about a chainsaw salesperson,
Mhm.
somebody at wherever you go for your hardware, those salespeople don't have the reputation of being slick and shady salespeople, right?
Certainly not. No.
We have that problem in the used car business, right?
Sure.
And
Yep.
so we have the added thing where we have to overcome that. And part of the way we do that is we let the community get to know us. Right. And so this is why I
Yeah.
use that example. Pick anything. It's like we have that problem in the used car space
Mhm.
where we have to help customers know. And then in buy here pay, we have the added problem of the folks that we serve have credit trouble. They're a little embarrassed to approach anybody. That's an
Mhm.
uncomfortable situation for them. And so it's really important that we take the time to let the customer get to know us. So this is all part of brand identity and
Mhm.
just community engagement, and so a lot of what we've seen you do, I love some of the posts you did. I
Oh my
shared the one you did
goodness.
about timing belt. It's just educational.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that came directly out of your marketing course. I mean, just
Oh, yeah.
giving little tidbits of info, and you guys do the same thing with your consulting and stuff. Like you're always giving. I mean, everything you do is pretty much everything everybody sees is free, right? Like it's all just free tidbits of info, and
Yeah.
and I thought that was pretty cool, and we're trying to do some more of that, but again, me on the camera is like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no point.
And
Yeah.
we've noticed too that Nik, before we engaged, we did a little research, and it's like, who's Nik, and what, what makes you tick? And you've always had a little bit of a community involvement. You've done work for different organizations and been actively available for, how can we help kind of
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
And I really, really have appreciated, that was something that we didn't really have to cover very much, but I've really appreciated how you have engaged. It's not just your customer base, but you have engaged with your community. Do you want to talk about, I know, did you post the thing that the most recent thing that you did, which
Yeah,
was such a great idea.
Oh yeah. I
the
just
car thing.
Yeah, the car thing. So just
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that and, some of the background.
Yeah, so we're looking for something that we could do to kind of give back on a regular basis, and something that we have readily available, but also something that wouldn't exploit somebody's bad fortune or bad situation. Like I wanted to give away a car or something, but like then I thought, how could I do that? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to put somebody out there and they couldn't afford a car, so we gave them a car. Like I just don't want to do that to somebody. So we decided to we keep a junk car out back here, and we put all our junk car parts, brake rotors, springs, exhaust parts, fill the car up. And we've been doing this anyways. But prior to, we were just filling them up and hauling them in and cashing the checks. But so this time around, we decided to kind of make a fun little thing out of it. We called it Junk in the Trunk. And I had this van that was almost full, and
just of like parts that could not be used that were metal.
Yeah, parts we took off cars into repair out of our repair business, and we made a survey. Credit to Michelle on that one. That was Google
Forms.
Sheets, Google Forms survey. Yeah. Just a fun little questionnaire, and had people guess the weight of the car for $100 gas card, and we completed that last week. Hauled it in. It wasn't worth as much as I thought, but it was like $562, I think. And I wrote a check to a local charity in our community last night. Gave them the check for that. But I was thinking on the next go around, I might do another survey and let people decide, where to send the money to, rather than.
Beautiful. Oh, that's a great idea. That's a really, really great idea.
Spread it around a little bit,
Yeah.
Well, good.
I want to talk just kind of briefly about surveys, and we when we first started, we talked about, why does your community choose you, and so that you kind of get an idea about where you stand so far with the community. And so we put this survey together. It was like 5-7 questions, pretty short, and then sent it out to all of the people that Nik currently has on his Rolodex. That dates me. And in social. And tell us about, your as you hit like live on that, what happened with that?
Man, so that was like I can't remember what was in that survey. I think it was just general buy here pay, or like pain points of buying a car, I think. And man, I could not believe, I think we just put that on Facebook, but I could not believe the amount of people that took that survey and filled it out. And again, for $100 gas card, I think. And I can't remember the numbers exactly, how many participants, but it was shocking to me. A couple hundred, I think, maybe. And I only barely have that many Facebook followers, I think. I don't know, but it's very interesting to me how much engagement you can get from something like that. I mean, if you think about in terms of cost, like you throw $100 at a Facebook ad a couple times a week, probably. You know what I mean? And just one $100 gas card gets you that much reach, shares, and engagement, and not to mention email addresses and phone numbers, and into your CRM. But a lot of great stuff came from that.
Yeah, and we talk about that. One of the things that gets overlooked in marketing, part of marketing is not just advertising and selling. It's surveying. It's getting to know your customer and what those pain points are that you're talking about, and what makes them tick, what makes them move to purchase, and all those kind of things. So that's part of marketing.
Yeah,
customers are looking to buy, right? And so it's all.
I wish I could remember the specific questions that were in there, because
they're somewhere in Google Drive.
Yeah, they're in there. I had to unplug my keyboard for the mic, so I can't get to it.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good.
That's okay.
Well, yeah, so we can figure it out. It really wasn't what today was about anyway.
Yeah.
It's really just about kind of thinking through what separates you. The way I was thinking through this, if I have a dealership called Main Street Motors, and all my ads feature used cars, then all the community would know about me is that I'm a used car dealer and I have used cars. I sell used cars. And that doesn't differentiate me from 5 other dealerships on the street. And so this is where we're saying this is an example of what we mean by this brand identity. Is you start to create this, let the people get to know you and what you're about, and kind of what you talked about with Simon Sinek, why you do what you do. And now you've got some connection to people. And I think when they go shopping for cars, they're more likely to remember who you are, feel comfortable with you. And now they'll probably come and choose. One of the things I got to share with the people, I remember Nick reaching out to me when we started into this. And when it started to really take off for him, he's like, man, I'm going to run out of cars and run out of money. And I thought, yes, that's a much easier problem for me to help you solve. We'll create a marketing campaign that's going to draw people to you. So if we get the marketing figured out, then, because that's what people struggle with. They're out there competing to try to, how do I get people to come through my door and agree to do business with me? And this is where we think, and this is why we chose this for the next webinar. It's like, this is where people struggle. It's like, how do I connect? And how do I overcome this used car stigma? And so this is part of what we'll be working to do. And we just thought you were a really good example of somebody who, has agreed to kind of bring your heart into your business.
Sure.
And just stick it out there and show yourself and let people get to know you.
Yeah. And so we will be, like you said, kind of a teaser for the webinar that we're going to be doing at the end of the month. And then just so you guys know that in February, we're going to be taking the brand and market development a step further. We're going to be doing something like what we did with Nik, with a group of dealers. And so, so just be kind of watching for that, because, we believe in, you teach people kind of how to do it, and then they have the opportunity to kind of do it themselves, or we can kind of do it together and work through some things together, and there's different layers to that. And so we're I think that when we do the webinar, it's going to be just a lot of really great information about, here's some of the things that are important for you to consider and to do all of that. And then we'll be diving in the next month or shortly thereafter into an actual, what we're calling a master class on how to do this.
And one of the things I've started to do, Nick, we would have asked you at some point in that, that process we went through, is one of the ways I've started to ask dealers is to think about, if I were to join your sales crew tomorrow, if I were to step on the floor as a salesperson, or if I were your marketing manager and I came to you and I said, okay, besides used cars with high miles and a few oil leaks, what am I selling? Like, who's Nick? Who's the company? What are you about? Like, that's what I need to go sell, right? And so even if I'm a salesperson, if I walk out on your lot tomorrow and I greet somebody, I've got used cars and we're going to talk about used cars, but I'm first going to spend some time making sure the customer knows who they're doing business with.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
So that's what I see you doing with your marketing.
Yep.
It's like, that's how you overcome some of this stuff, is you help people get to know who you are. It helps when it's easier when the authentic you is legit. Like you just really care about your customers, you care about your people. It's easier to go tell that story.
And so there is some authenticity to seeing someone who's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's real.
It's real.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So,
it is. And so, we really appreciate, watching some of the things that you've been doing. We really appreciate being able that you asked us to help you with that, and the opportunity we've had to get to know you. Yeah. Because you're pretty outstanding. We really like
I greatly appreciate the help. I mean, you guys really, I know, like really laid the foundation, and kind of connected, but I couldn't connect. And, it was very, very helpful, and just, this last couple months, just kind of putting it all together. And I appreciate that as well.
You're in a position to really take off in 2023, and don't worry, we'll help you find the money. It's out there. We'll help you to grow your business. So that's the thing we can solve.
It's like we're connecting. Okay. Yeah. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, I'm going to put you backstage. If you just stick around for just a second after we sign off, and so we can just say goodbye personally.
Sure.
So,
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming, Nick. We appreciate it. All right. Well,
so cool.
And it's been so, like I said, really, really genuine person, really cares about their community. I mean, and so it's been fun to be a part of Nik stepping forward and showing the community who Nik is and what Tyrone Tire and Automotive is all about.
Yeah, I'm glad we brought this subject to White Hat Wednesday, because it's very much a White Hat.
I agree. Absolutely. Jim gets emotional about that because he's just the white hat stuff is just it's really foundational and and we have such great opportunities. We we as people within the buy here pay here world we have a client base, we have a customer base, we have a community that could really benefit. And we have the opportunity to be able to reach people that really could that could use the help and that need to feel like they are appreciated and
Mhm.
that they are humanized and that they are just as much of value as anybody else in any consumer kind of business or whatever. But that
Yeah.
we really have a beautiful opportunity, and one of the things that Jim and I have been we really want to be able to do with the White Hat Way, with especially this branding and marketing piece, is like let's help change the conversation around buy here, pay here. And we start that with dealer by dealer by dealer. It's like, who are you?
Yeah.
What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What
Mhm.
is it that how do you want to be known in your
There
community?
you go.
And when you're known as someone that's like, hey, we're on the same side of the table, and I'm here to help. You just make sure you keep up on the payments and we're here to help. What can we do to help? And that's going to one by one is going to start helping to change the perspective of this
Yeah.
industry.
And, part of White Hat Wednesday going forward will continue to be that every so often we got to take a break from the numbers and, the
Mhm.
transmission invoices and all the stuff that is day to day buy here, pay
Yeah.
here, right? That's part of running your business for sure. But we have to take time periodically and step back and say, how are we connecting with our community? And that's not
Mhm.
necessarily going to be a straight lines kind of subject.
Mhm.
And so this is part of what we expect to do with White Hat Wednesday is continue to talk about the stuff that helps us understand how do we better connect with the consumer. Now, when we ask ourselves, well, why aren't we selling any cars? Well, let's step back and maybe look at it from that lens. And so that's part of what we try to do here. And I feel like we've accomplished a little bit of that. Again, go follow Tyrone Tire and
Mhm.
Automotive in Tyrone, Pennsylvania. You'll learn a little bit about what we teach, and you'll see his business take off. As he started to kind of connect with his community in a really powerful way. And so it's just a fun thing for Michelle and I to be involved in, and we appreciate you tuning in, and we're glad to get to introduce you to Nik today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is Wednesday. Friday, we've got some hopefully Jeremy Beck that's feeling much
Get
better,
Jeremy.
and our new CEO of NIADA,
Melanie Wilson.
Melanie Wilson. We'll talk to you guys all later. Have a great rest
Wednesday.
of your week.